Good morning, everybody. It's Bob Phibbs, the retail doc, and you are live on the first day of spring. Yay, spring! I want to welcome you all here, and thanks for joining. Also, welcome the ICFA members who we are rolling Sales RX out to over 100 locations this week, so I'm glad you're here with us as well. And for those of you who are familiar with it, you know I always ask a question on my live videos. So today's is, what is your favorite thing about spring? Type that in the comments below. That would be great. So what is your favorite thing about spring? There's always a little bit of a lag between when I ask the question and when you answer. So I'll take just a little bit of time here. Notice I have my spring shirt on today. It is spring. Wow, what a different spring than last year. How many of us knew we were going into the dark winter of the rest of the year? So maybe it's just me, but I'll tell you, it's the first day that's going to be 68 in upstate New York, and I am totally thrilled. I think my favorite thing about spring is watching the snowdrops. So snowdrops are just a little small green little plant, and they have these little, like, almost like a little white lily that hangs down from them. And when I see those, it's like, check. They're kind of like the red-winged blackbirds. When I see them fly overhead, check, spring is here. And that just means an awful lot. So figure it out. Hey, good morning, Cargift from Portugal. Glad you're here today. Cynthia, March Madness. Nice. David, warmer days. Yeah, exactly. LinkedIn user, whoever you are, they don't give me your name. What's that about? It's not getting dark until 7. I love that. Yeah, light and warmth, Stacy. That's exactly it. Seems like everyone looks at the beautiful colors. Yeah, that's right, Tina. That's it. Well, keep typing in there. I'm going to keep talking today. I didn't get an awful lot of questions, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, and then I have 3 questions. But I'm going to start off by noticing that I got my first of the COVID-19 vaccinations. Yes, I totally rock, and you do too. I hope you're out there taking your vaccinations, because we cannot afford what Europe is looking at, which is a third wave, unless you really take it all like it's all going to go away. Paris is locked down now till April 15th. And the same with many other locations. So let's take it seriously. I know some of you asked about vaccinations last week. What if I do if somebody doesn't want to take a vaccination who works for me? I would take the lead from other big employers. Here's $100 if you get the full vaccination. Once you have proof of that, I will give you $100. We need to be able to show that it's safe to shop in your stores. And I can't think of an easier way to do that than, and by the way, there are on Etsy and on Amazon, there's a lot of places you can get I was vaccinated buttons that you could wear as well. So consider that. If you're concerned about it, go Pfizer, David. I think I am Pfizer. That's right. I was waiting for the, the 1-dose Johnson & Johnson, but I have people now asking me to come to their stores in May, and it's like, holy gosh, I better hurry up, because it's about a 6-week process. You have to take the first shot, then wait a month, and then it's about 2 weeks after that second shot that your immunity is up. So glad to see all the different things you're talking about. Spring brings forth life and nature. Yeah, I think that's really kind of it. Really good, really good. I love that. Moderna #1 last Tuesday. I love that. There you go, Jody. Thanks for that. I love it. Alex, plants waking up, and let's show this, because that's always fun. Plants waking up and lots of happy people. My spring checkoff is when my roses start to leaf out. You know, crazy, Alex. I have a rose that's already leafing out. It's like, dude, seriously, it's not that spring-like yet. So there you go. So let's talk about kites. March is a time of kites. And when I was a little boy growing up in Ohio, my birthday is March 30th. And so I always had birthday cakes with, they were coconut cakes that had jelly beans on them, and birthday bunnies. And that's kind of what mine has always been. And my fellow Aries, you know what I'm talking about, that end of the month, that Easter falls around a lot of our birthdays. And so I thought I would share with you. My mom went through, and she surprised me one time, and we had a kite flying party when I was about 6. And we all went to fly our kites at this huge field at the elementary field. Can you guess which one I am? Anybody? Which one do you think I am? Happy birthday soon. Thank you very much. Which one do you think I am? Type in the comments. What do you think? Which one of those kids is me? Yeah, just type it in the comments. That way I'll know you're there. All right, now I'm getting a little message saying you can't post all of my comments. Michelle says the rocket ship. Who else? Anybody else? Which one do you think is me? Lee, the top left. No, that's definitely not me. Tristan, the yellow kite. Lee, the top left. Okay. I would have thought most of you would have picked the red hat. That's my buddy Jay, who was became an architect. No, it is indeed me, yellow with the rocket ship. That is definitely me. I always tried to stand out. I know, what a surprise, right? Well, anyway, we all went to fly our kites at this huge field, and each one would hold up our kite as the other person ran away into the wind. And in Ohio, I lived up by Toledo, you'd get that lift and it would rocket up. And I just loved looking up into the sky. That was just a lot of fun. And, you know, my parents fought. And a lot for a lot of reasons. I'm not going to get into all that. And my two brothers were way older than me, and they hung out with their friends. And I pretty much was a little lonely guy. And, you know, I have a whole another book someday I will write about lessons I learned growing up. And I did a one-man show in Los Angeles about it one time. But the thing is that I would go through after I had that birthday party, and I would take myself out to that field. Now, it's a huge field. So the Ottawa Hills High School is there on the left, and it was enough for 4 baseball diamonds, and it was a big field. So in the wintertime in March, that wasn't all pretty. It was, you know, pretty wide open. And I would take myself out to that field alone, and I'd try to do it myself. And I'd think it would be great, but then you know, I would go running and then it would get caught, or the tail was too short. So it zoomed up to the side. Actually, you don't have to see that big picture of me. You can see me a little bit there. It would zoom up to the side and then it would crash, you know, with a big thud into the ground. But boy, when it soared, so did I. And that sense of wonder is what kites still represent to me, especially on this first day of spring. And I'm sharing that story with you because most of you appeal to a customer's sense of hope and wonder. Yeah, I mean, some of them are going to appeal to ego, and I get that. But more often than not, wonder is involved. And that's where a sales process can really help you. You know, even in a toy store, you might think of, oh, well, you know, we're teaching kids how to count. But it's the wonder of a parent watching those little synapses fire and get it right. And, you know, if you miss that, you miss that. Or the wonder of a photography store being able to capture a bird and get it perfect so that you can say, wow, I didn't just capture, you know, this bird was here. I captured that bird's expression, or somebody making something. And I think that so many times we get caught up in the mechanics of what it is that we're selling that we forget that it's about more than that for the customer, right? There's always a story. There's a story about the product, and then there's a story about what they're looking for. So yeah, you can get into mechanics. You know, our kites are stronger. We make tails better. We have a stronger string, and you get to all that. But when you miss the wonder and that hope of your product, I think the merch sits. So that's my big idea for you today, that I want you to be thinking about that hope and wonder in your product is there. You would have to be on Pluto right now not to feel the hope and wonder in the economy, as people are looking forward to getting back out into their lives. They're looking forward to welcoming their customers, schools reopening. There's a million things that are going great. So I just want you to be thinking about this week, how can you make sure that your sense of wonder is there? Because a lot of us, when we buy new products at a store, we get, oh, wow, that's amazing. Or at a show, that's amazing. And then when it gets to the store, you know, that's 2 or 3 months later. And, you know, we got this in, and your wonder is kind of gone because you've seen it. And we forget about what it's like to see whatever that is for the first time in a store. And that's what makes visual merchandising so important. That's what makes a sales process so important. But more importantly, that's your real job here, is to make sure that you are finding a way to get people to wonder, because that's where we buy. If you want to keep me stuck in an analytical mind frame, do I trust this guy? I could get this for $20 less, et cetera, and you can't get me to wonder and freedom and all the other emotions that I'm really buying, I think your merch sits. And that's going to be the key, because as much as a lot of you are telling me like, oh, we've never been so busy and I don't have time to train and I'm short staffed. Great. You win. It sucks to be you. You're busy now. Last year it was, oh my God, we're closed. I don't have money. Make up your mind. Either put it into your four walls and shut up and do the job and realize it's about the customer first, or you're going to miss it, because you may have a tailwind of people who are going to be excited to be buying apparel again because they're going places, and that's great. But you know what? So are your other competitors, and they're riding that same tailwind. So the next 6 to 18 months are going to be really important, that you not only can get us to wonder, but you can go through and hold on to these customers and not be writing me like, what do? I don't have people coming in the door. So what do you think? Does that make sense to you? If it does, put it in the comments below. Did that make that connection? Does that sound right to you? Thanks for that, Lee. I appreciate that, my friend. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, if you're not connecting the dots yourself right now, if you're just sitting there like, oh, well, I'm listening to Bob again, puts on a great show, then that's not my point. I'm here to make you do a better job. I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to tell you what your friends won't, which is the hard job is to go through and come up with ways to increase people's wonder, and not just to buy more merch and watch it sit and then bemoan the fact that you have all this merch. You have to do it all. Yeah, I know. That's the job. Same thing for me. I'm not going to bemoan that I'm on, 2019, I flew 140,000 miles. I think last year I flew 10. Well, I'll be back in the air again at some point. And the point is I got to deliver for my audiences, right? All right. I only have 3 questions here really quickly. Heather, how do I market on the street during festivals and market days when draw people to the other end of town with flyers and coupons and handouts? I want to do something creative but not intrusive or cheesy. I'm a higher end ladies apparel boutique. So Heather, this is a classic case of, I know everyone's here, but I just need to get them here. It's like, you're trying to insert yourself. And the key here is, I think you have to be part of whatever's going on. So if it was me, I would have some kind of a crazy fashion show with, they've got elaborate masks or something, or headdresses or anything, and have them walking among it and being part of the party, not being a party crasher. I think too many retailers, we get focused on all these people are down there. If they just came, they're there for a party. They're there for something totally different. And so the goal is, how do you become part of that party? And you could be walking around doing interviews with people with your phone and doing it on FaceTime or with a camera. Hire some intern or somebody from the local community college to follow you and interview people. What do they like about it? But you're dressed to the nines. You're dressed like you're going out. And now you're part of the party, instead of here's $10 off this week only. Here, come. Where are we? Oh, you're down. Oh, thanks very much. And they throw it out. That's a waste of your time. So I hope that helps, Heather. Jessica, I'm not sure if a candy shop is considered retail. How do you upsell in a candy store? Well, you have food, which is really the most important thing. And free samples are always the key of that, right? So you can ask them, would you like a free sample of, and then it's something that's similar or different. Or you're going to ask them, now, what about do you have any kids at home? Well, what about them? Or are you going to visit anybody this week? Well, what are you going to take them? This makes a great hostess gift. Or do you know a child who would like? The point is, you are trying to get it in front of them because they've already said yes. So upselling shouldn't be a big deal. But it is going to be a matter of getting away from, these are only $1 more. That's not what you're selling. You're selling sugar, you're selling fun, and you're selling gifts. That's the key, is being able to make that imagination. And Tony, last one. Do you have any lighting recommendations for my shop windows? I'm cursed with ugly track lighting. So Tony, back 30 years ago, I would tell you, yeah, you're cursed with it. But I'm telling you, things have changed in 30 years. Maybe you got the one track that was cheap that you bought at a Rite Aid or something. But even with those can be changed out. And if they're better, if they're professionally installed, excuse me, you can actually change out the fixtures to hang down with pendant lights. There's a lot of things you can do, but also you could go through and they now have cords that you could just plug into it. And there's a million things you can do and get away from the cheapest pigtail fluorescents from the 1980s that you try to put up into a fixture that was designed for 150 floodlights and just experiment. But my key is always for your front windows, add light, add light, add light, and make sure something is on at night as people could be driving by. So with that in mind, I hope that helps. I hope that was fun with you and to see me on my my moment with my kites there. I think I can go back up there. There we go. All right. And just remember that you're selling wonder, you're selling emotion, and that if you are frustrated and you find that people are coming in and they're walking out without buying, well, you probably don't have a sales process under it, which is why you would check out salesrx.com, which is where I teach you everything I've known in 30 years, which is lifting sales across the world, literally on 4 continents. But you'd also look at, well, what am I saying to get someone up into wonder? What am I saying that's actually pouring water on their energy of coming in and finding something exciting? And then how do I do less of that and build more wonder and build more of a feeling into it instead of just getting into that, what are you looking for? It's over here. Anything else? No, that's it. We have contactless payments. Oh, great. We could do it to curbside. We could send it to, great. The mechanics have got to go away from retail. If we don't get up to the wonder, if we don't get up to the excitement, if we don't get up to spring, I think it's just going to be a harder 2021. And I wish you all the best. Get outside today and enjoy the spring. Let me know what you heard from me. Put it in the comments below. I answer. I read every single one. And let's make this a great week. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week.